Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hey, follow me. Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari. Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Banatari. Jamunatira Banatari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari. Gopijana Balaba Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Banatari. Jamuna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Priya Jagacharya Sitha Dashisham His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kuraveshta Brindaki, Nam Charshla Hardas Takuki, Prem Shikaho Shukashan Chaitana, Prabhu Nityananda, Shidweta Gadadhar, Shiva Sari Go Bhakta Brindaki, Say Sri Radha Krishna Gogopi Nath, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Ki, Vrindavandam Ki, Mathuradam Ki, Dwarkadam Ki, Navadvipdam Ki, Jagannapuridam Ki, Chamunamai Ki, Gangamai Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Samveda Bhakti Vindaki, Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki, Gopremanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine Lotus Feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. You know, Prabhupada said, they are saying God is dead, and we know his phone number, we know his address, we know everything. We even know how Krishna wears his dhoti. As it was, one of the artists was saying that Jadharani at the Los Angeles Prabhupada Festival, Jadharani asked Prabhupada, because they actually have to paint it. When you think about it, they have to paint all of these details. Prabhupada, they painted one painting. Well, I'll say it this way. We were on a walk with Srila Prabhupada in Detroit. I forget the year. And Radha Damodar was there, the bus party. And Belle Isle was the name of the park, in the middle of the Detroit River. So Prabhupada was walking, and he saw a statue, big statue off to the side. So he turned, walked towards it, and asked, "What is this?" And the devotee said, "This is Atlas," I think Greek or Roman god, holding up the earth. And he's got big muscles, he's, beads of sweat and everything. Prabhupada said, no. Prabhupada said, Krishna's not like this. He's a little fat from eating Mother Yasoda's butter. He doesn't have to go into training for, So about the dhoti, Jadharani said, Prabhupada, how does Krishna wear his dhoti? And Prabhupada called his servant and said, get me 2 dhotis. They went and got 2 dhotis, and Prabhupada tied the dhoti, up in front. And then Prabhupada took the other dhoti and tied it like a sash, and then posed. And Jadharani was so struck that she, what is the word, unabashed, she said to Srila Prabhupada, "Oh, Prabhupada, I was so shocked, I wasn't watching. Can you do it again?" And Prabhupada did it again. So we actually know how Krishna wears dhoti. And Bhavananda told me that he asked Prabhupada when they for Radha Madhava, how should they be posed? And Prabhupada immediately posed like Radharani. How it's not blessing mood, but what she's dancing or I forget, shows you where I'm at. But Prabhupada immediately posed. And you can see that graceful form there. So we know these things. We're not bluffed. Tamal Krishnamaj told me that he came to see Prabhupada. This was in Los Angeles, so it must have been, 69, something like that, 68, 69. And Prabhupada had made some nice luglus, bundi luglus with fruit, the way they're, you've never had luglus, like how they're actually, they're nice as bundi, but when they cook them with nuts and dried fruit, they're just, something amazing. So Prabhupada had cooked them, told Tamal, I made these luglus, offered to Krishna, try, have one. So he bit into it. He said, it's like nothing he ever tasted. He said, Prabhupada, this is like nothing I've ever tasted. And Prabhupada was in the kitchen and said to him, just casually, that is Mother Yasoda's recipe. And went on, so who knows these things? But the Prabhupada knows, and our acharyas know, so we know how, we just hear from them. One devotee said to Prabhupada, in this painting, Krishna looks like this. This was in Los Angeles. We were there. And we had Brijbasi paintings on the walls. And Prabhupada, and some of our art was just coming. And the devotee said, Prabhupada, in this picture, Krishna looks like this. But in this picture, he looks like that. And this picture, he looks like this. Prabhupada said, don't worry. When you get there, you'll recognize him. So, we are knowing these things by Krishna's grace. Prabhupada's grace. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalana Sadasham Mesha Paranarko Dinodata Narayananuskricha Naram Shaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tatojayam Udirayat. The Bhagavatam is brilliant as the sun. It is originated just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision to the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning the study of srimadbhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer our respects to the personality of Godhead Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, the goddess of learning of the Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Is this water fresh from today? Hasn't been sitting there for a week? Okay, thanks. Thank you, Prabhu. So, assuming we're... Okay, good. Evam sa kapiloktena margena chidata Ganachirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapa Ha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Vaishnavis Evam Sa Kapiloktena Margena Chirata Param Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam Bhagavantam Avapaha Evam sa kapiloktena margana chidataparam atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavantam avapaha. Evam, thus, sa, she, Devahuti, Kapila, by Kapila, Uktena, instructed, Margina, by the path, Achidata, soon, Param, supreme, Atmanam, supersoul, Brahma, Brahman, Nirvanam, cessation of material existence, Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Avapa, she achieved, Ha, certainly. My dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage, and she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Supersoul without difficulty. Also you say, my dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage, and she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Supersoul without difficulty. Purport. 3 words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of Devahuti: Atmanam, Brahmanirvanam, and Bhagavantam. These refer to the gradual process of discovery of the absolute truth mentioned herein as the Bhagavantam. What is Gandhi's book called? Experiments in Truth? What is it? What is his book called? Anybody know? We don't have any recent readers, huh? Experiments in Truth. So we're not experimenting. We're following the fixed and confident path. These refer to the gradual that I read. The Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in various Vaikuntha planets. Nirvana means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. When one is able to enter into the spiritual kingdom or into spiritual realization, one is automatically freed from material pangs. This is called Brahma Nirvana. According to Vedic scriptures, Nirvana means cessation of the materialistic way of life. Atmanam means realization of the supersoul within the heart. Ultimately, the highest perfection is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is understood that Devahuti entered the planet which is called Kapila Vaikuntha. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets predominated by expansions of Vishnu. All the Vaikuntha planets are known by a particular name of Vishnu. As we understand from Brahma Samhita, Advaita Chuta Anadim Ananta Rupam. Brahma Samhita 5:33. Ananta means innumerable. The Lord has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form, as from one candle. You can light so many candles, each of the same candle power. There's an original candle, but so many other candles, all of the same candle power. This is Krishna. I had one man tell me that if you, and Prabhupada gives the example, he calls it spiritual mathematics. Spiritual mathematics is 1 + 1 = 1 - 1 = Om Purnama Da Purnamidam. So many complete units emanate, still he remains a complete balance. At the same time, there's an original, Govinda, Adipurusha. Ananta means, that we read, the Lord has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form, and according to different positions of the symbolic representations in his hand, he is known as Narayan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, etc. What are the 4 things in Krishna's hands? What's 1? Conch, lotus, club, lest we forget. And Prabhupada said 2 things, nice things for the devotees. Prabhupada said lotus and conch. And then Prabhupada said for the asuras, clubbing and chopping. So as you approach Krishna, Krishna is more than ready to reciprocate accordingly. Of course, Krishna's reciprocation, everyone benefits. There is also a Vaikuntha planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha, to which Devahuti was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. Now, this was a question, and I'm getting some answers, but one could read this sentence, she was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. So one may think, well, what is this, like Mother Yasoda? But I thought there were no childhood pastimes and no parental ras in Vaikuntha. So what does this mean? This means as is grown up, you know, Krishna is grown up. He's not there as a baby Kapila or a young Kapila. There's no parental ras in Vaikuntha. So far my reports. I'm waiting to hear from a few of our other, I'm waiting to hear from Shivaram Maharaj. But that's our understanding. Okay, so a few Om Ganata Marandasya Gyana Ganasa Lakaya Jakshushra Militan Gyana Tazarishi Gurave Namaha. One of the hardest things to do, because it describes here that she followed the instructions. What is this saying? When all else fails, if you're trying to assemble something, when all else fails, follow the instructions, read the manual, right? That's like the last thing we'll do. My father was a very good man, materially, and I could never repay him, and that's a fact. But if you wonder where it comes from in me, he was he was a little proud, a little arrogant. In this way, he was actually a kind man, but in this way, he would never ask directions. Every year, we would go on the kids, you know, everybody's got a vacation. We'd go on a 2-week vacation, and we'd go on a driving trip, and we'd go to some national park or Washington, D.C., and see the monuments, Smithsonian stuff. It was fun. So every year we looked forward to it. But my father always got lost, and he would never ask directions because it was like belittling him or somehow or other, you know. And I remember my mother said to him one time, his name was Robert. So, you know, we'd gone past this. My mother finally said, you know, Bob, we've gone past that building 5 times, which means we're going in a circle, you know. She said, all around us are people who know exactly where they are. If you ask them, they could probably tell you, you know. But no, he wouldn't ask, you know. I'm trying to think of the time. There's a Radhanath Maharaj joke. It's off the path, but because we've got some saffron cloth and because I'm a sannyasi and because Devaki Mataji is kind-hearted, I'll tell a Radhanath Maharaj Brahmachari joke. Because, you know, just follow directions. Nobody wants to follow. Everybody wants to, you know, just, what is it? But it's something in Kali Yuga. It's one of the symptoms is that arrogant pride. Prabhupada calls it doggish pride. Doggish arrogance. So, anyway, there was a devotee here in SanDiego, I won't mention the name, and he had managed to purchase a brand new BMW or Mercedes SUV. And this is when the OnStar GPS voice activated was just happening. It was like brand new. There was such a time. And his was tuned to a woman's voice. So we were going to some program, I forget what it was, and he was showing off his car to Radhanath Maharaj. Oh, it can go from 0 to 60 and this and that. It has this type of wheels, and it's got this, that, fuel injected in. You know, and Radhanath Maharaj is a saintly person and a sannyasi and not really so much into all those details, but still, you know, he was a gentleman. He said, oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, fine. And we got in the car, and the first thing was, a door is ajar, a door is ajar. Everybody checks their doors. Fasten your seatbelt. Everybody fastens your seatbelt, you know, and says, turn left, turn right. You're going too fast, slow down, this, that, you know, with a woman's voice. And after about 15 minutes of being badgered by this GPS voice, Radhanath Maharaj turned to the devotee and said, you know, he said, this is worse than being married. Which I thought, way to go. Because it was, I mean, it was humorous. It was light touch, but it made a good point that you're bragging about you're paying to be slapped around. You know, well, what kind of silliness is that? You're so proud of it. So it was very nice. It was appropriate. But the fact of the matter is, just, what is it? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnani sevaya upatikjanti te jnana. I mean, there's qualifications that we have to do on our part. But what is it? Tattvadarshana. Tadvidhi, what is it? What is the last line? Upatikjanti te jnana. Jnanivas tattvadarshana. Jnanivas tattvadarshana. That you ask people who've seen the truth. Not experiments in truth, or I think, or maybe, or, you know. Suppose you're serious. Suppose you're sending a check or money to a friend who's urgently waiting for it. And you're in a city you don't know. And you go out to mail the letter with the money, which the person is urgently waiting for. But you don't ask anybody where a mailbox is or where the post office is. You say, no. It's not the finding, it's the looking. It's the adventure. It's the experience of, you know, a seeking. Well, your friend's waiting 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month for the money. Is your friend very pleased with that? You just ask. So that's our theme. First off, you've got to ask the right person. I remember it was a real eye-opener for me. Fool that I am. When I was first coming to the temple, there was a guy from Japan, George Asawa, I think is his name. He's the founding father of macrobiology, brown rice, and chew so many times. It was big. In my day, it was big. And so I saw the devotees using white sugar. I saw them using white rice. I said, oh my gosh, you're killing people, you know. And, you know, everyone's got their diet and this and that. But the devotee explained to me that it becomes prasadam, like electricity going into a house. It can make something hot and it can make it cold according to the apparatus that manifests the power. But the electricity is one. So the devotee said, when you offer it to Krishna, it becomes surcharged, it becomes transformed, it's transcendental, it's Krishna Prasad. I said, okay, that actually made sense to me. I could understand. When it's in touch with Krishna, it becomes Krishnized, is the word Prabhupada used. So, but anyway, I was saying, oh, this, that, brown rice, this, that, so many things. And the devotee said, and I mentioned that I was this George Asawa or Saka, whatever his name was. So the devotee said, you know, if you follow somebody, you're going to go where they go. So do you know what happened to him? I said, that's an interesting point. So I went back to my Buddhist brown rice friends. I said, you know, and the guy died of malnutrition on a brown rice fast. I said, well, that doesn't sound like a success formula. You know, don't get all mental about, oh, natural foods and fine. You know, eat what's healthy, you know, but if you get completely absorbed into it and thinking, you know, you're not offering it to Krishna. I mean, I've got to eat certain foods. I mean, Devaki Mataji, you have to eat certain, you know, but we're thinking it comes from Krishna, we're offering it, you know, you get the point. So the point is that, first off, you've got to find the right person to follow. You have to be willing to follow. And you've got to find the right, the first step in Bhagavad Gita for knowledge, he gives all those different qualities of knowledge. What is the first one? Humility. And Prabhupada describes in the purport, without humility, no one can learn anything. You have to begin from that point. I remember asking one of the devotees, anyway, we should just be willing to, because it works. And I'm thinking of the time. Well, I guess, because I wanted to say a couple things, I'll say this. It says in the purport that you need to become free from material bondage. The fruit of that is we become free from the pangs of material anxiety. But it's a process. It says gradually, it takes some time. Devotees say, oh, you know, we don't need to follow, you know, the Varnashram is there and the Vedic culture, but you know, we're chanting the holy name. We transcend all that. Anyone know Prabhupada's short sutra about that? Hey, I'm a devotee. I don't need to worry about, you know, social etiquette and you know, mode of goodness instruction. I don't need to worry about that. I'm a devotee. Anyone know Prabhupada's quick answer? Yeah, Prabhupada. Then, you know, if just by chanting Hare Krishna, I mean, chanting Hare Krishna. Even who was it? Was chanting Mara Mara Mara, and it became Rama Rama. Is that Valmiki? Who was it? They met. Prabhupada tells the story. They met Narada Muni. I think it's Valmiki. Yeah, and he was telling him chant Mara. He said, "I want your most." The way Prabhupada tells the story, that Valmiki was a highwayman, a robber, and accosted Narada Muni. Said, "Give me your most valuable thing." So Narada Muni immediately gave him the holy name. It's the most valuable thing. And Valmiki said, I don't want that. You know, I'm a highwayman. I'm a robber. I want to, you know, this and that. So Narada said, well then, okay, then you can meditate on your murder. Mara. It's the name of the goddess of death. You can chant Mara. So what happens if you chant Mara? Say it a bunch of times. Mara, Mara, and it becomes Rama, Rama, Rama. And was it 60,000 years? I don't know how long he was meditating, but so many years. And he became fully self-realized, came out of his trance of Ramayan. So, no doubt, chanting the holy name, we have a Jamil. I mean, there's so many examples of the power of the holy name. Still, it becomes, Prabhupada said one time, that kind of chanting can take 1,000 lives. So the necessity of training, of actually being, I mean, we're not mundane do-gooders, but all the qualities listed of a devotee, you know, one of them is kind, one is, you know, tolerant, all those qualities, we need to practice those. We need to incorporate those into our life. It's not enough, well, I'm just chanting Hare Krishna and everybody else is chopped cabbage. I mean, that's kanista. So, let's say this, because I'm thinking of the time. It's described as a gradual process. Of course, Prabhupada said gradual means in this lifetime. So really, and I'm 65, and the older I get, the faster time goes. And you'll find, maybe it's because, you know, when you're only 6 years, 1 year is a sixth of your life. When you're 65, it's 1/65th of your life. So I don't know exactly what the psychological reason, but it's a fact. And this life goes by. Go to an old folks' home or ask an oldster. And they'll tell you their life went by just like that. People tell me, oh, back in 1985 seems like yesterday. And I think, wait a minute. 85 is 15 and 18. It's over 30 years ago. You know? That's a long time. I was a teenager. It was a half a century ago. Sheesh. That's a long time. But it goes by just like this. So very quickly, soon, Prabhupada said, means within this lifetime. Jayadvaita Swami. Prabhupada said, you chant Hare Krishna. I was sitting there. This was in the Henry Street Temple, Brooklyn. I forget the year. New York Temple in Brooklyn. Prabhupada said, you chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles, serve the Vaishnavas, engage in serving ISKCON, the SanDiego mission, and you will see Krishna face to face in this lifetime. I mean, it's pretty simple. Chant 16 rounds, the principle is, Prabhupada said, principle is easy, application is a little difficult. Chant 16 rounds, follow the regular principles, serve the Vaishnavas, serve the SanDiego mission, you'll see Krishna face to face in this life. Jayadvaita Swami, I was also there in the darshan. Jayadvaita Swami asked, he was a brahmachari still, I think he was still a brahmachari. He said, Prabhupada, you said, you know, if we do these things, we'll see Krishna face to face in this life. And he was about to ask, how's that, you know, Prabhupada cut him right off, put his hand, said, in this life, why not? So on one hand, it's very quick, But Prabhupada gives it, what does Rupa Goswami say? It parallels this verse in Upadesh Amrita. Second, I think it's the second verse. Third verse. There's yama and niyama, don't do and do. And how does he start off this is such a underhand softball. 6 qualities needed for making one's devotion successful, bearing fruit. Anybody can name one? Utsaha, enthusiasm. Prabhupada, I've mentioned before, but I'll mention again because we got some new faces. Prabhupada was in Detroit. I was there. Yeah, I was there actually. Bhagavan was the GBC and temple president. His son Vaishnava was probably around 4 years old, something like. Had never seen Prabhupada, but all of his life, his short life, he'd been hearing Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was actually there. It's like seeing Santa Claus or I don't know what. So he came running from where he was staying upstairs in the temple with his mother, came running down into the temple room, and there was a door jamb or whatever you call it like this. There was a little bit of marble, and he tripped on it. He didn't hurt himself, but he was running, so he had momentum, tripped, and he had one of those onesies, those kids that they wear, you just zip them up. I don't know if they still wear it, but like a pajama, one suit, zip. And because it was all smooth, and because he was running, hit the ground, whoosh, he was like, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Vaishnava. He went all the way across the floor, out like this, and stopped right in front of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was so blissful. Prabhupada looked down, his eyes got big, looked, he saw the boy, zzz, and he just wound up stopping right, and Prabhupada looked down, Prabhupada said, utsaha. This is essential for devotional life, But what also has to be there? What are the other next 2 qualities? Patience. What's the other one? Determination. Utsaha nishchaya daryat. And Prabhupada gives the example of course now everything's topsy-turvy, but a young lady gets married. She wants to have a kid. They want to have children. So, generally speaking. Okay, the enthusiasm is there. Is she going to immediately have a baby? Take some time, isn't it? But if the man is potent, if the woman is fertile, there'll be a child in due course. So if we have a bona fide spiritual master, we're a sincere follower. If the spiritual master is potent, if we're fertile, our intelligence and inquiries and service, in submission, then there'll be the fruit. There'll be Krishna conscious. So it takes some time. And it's an interesting juxtaposition because you have to be enthusiastic. You can't be dull-headed. You can't. It's not going to happen by osmosis. Ultimately, even if I'm just chanting the holy name. Ultimately, the fog will clear. Ultimately, when the fog clears, you got to put your heart into it. Either way, you can never get it if you're not enthusiastic. The fog will clear and you'll become enthusiastic, but you must ultimately become enthusiastic. But you also have to be patient. Patient means, take some time. It's not automatic. But lo and behold, one's confident. Also, it's a great combination. The enthusiasm, the commitment, the follow has to be there. The patience, I'm not going to become Krishna conscious. And let me ask you another thing. We don't expect, hey, Prabhu, I'm not fully Krishna conscious. I may lose my temper sometimes or be short or, brusque in my speaking. We expect other people to be sympathetic to our condition, right? Hey, I'm trying. I had a bad day. Come on, give me a break. I'm trying. We shouldn't take advantage. It's like, whatever. Chanting, expecting the holy name to, and committing sin. So, but on one hand, we have that natural expectation that devotees will see our good qualities, isn't it? They say to have friends, what do you have to be? To have good friends, you have to be a good friend. if you expect forgiveness for our inevitable shortcomings, what do we have to be willing to do? Forgive others. How can you ask for what you're not willing to give? So, as we have to be patient. It takes time. And of course, we have to give patience to others. But we also need to be confident it works. I will get Krishna in this life if I just follow, humbly, sincerely follow. What else did I want to say? Because we're just about time. I wanted to say, because it talks about the three qualities. It says, Brahma, what is it? Let me look it up and see. And Atman, those three required. Brahma Nirvana. What it says is really nice. I mean, cessation of the materialistic way of life. Not an anxiety. Any of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Sometimes finds defending as fearing. And that fearing is, because it talks about the supersoul, that fearing is the interwoven, otam, all things rest upon Krishna. You know, the warp and the woof, protam. What means, what does Vaikuntha mean? Free from anxiety. So, and Prasanna defines that as fearing. We're always, diagnosis that you're sitting pretty close. Any further, and it's all right. I'm just moving ever closer. Eventually, going to be pinned against the wall. Anyway, be that as it may. Prabhupada gives a great example because we're thinking that activity. Generally, it's the same, just like at the Krishna lounge, or you talk to some Buddhist. It's always the thing. Ultimately, it's formless. Ultimately, it's all one. Ultimately, it's a cessation. All a fallacy of logic is that now you've got lactose insensitive and macrobiotic, but as a general rule, at some point in their life, milk, true or false? It's true. Therefore, drinking milk makes you a robber. Is that true? No, there's so many other factors that are not considered. Material activities, material contamination, not the activities. We're doing this as a transformed. And we could all move out and they could turn it into a disco, overnight. It could be, there used to be a restaurant and a bar, it was famous, called Mulvaney's. And it was here in PB. It was some Irish, but it was Mulvaney is an Irish, but it was Krishna Mulvaney's, and it was a famous bar, and people would show up here ready to party. No, what? Chris is a great example. Prabhupada says, suppose I go to the doctor and I say, oh, my child has a fever, such a high fever, please cure my child. So the doctor pulls out a gun, bang, shoot your kid. Response, Ram. Give me my money. Dr. Swami, would you pay me? Well, why? You came, Prabhu, you came to me with a child with a fever. Does the child have the fever anymore? Is the fever gone? Yeah, now they're ice cold. Fever's gone, But it's not really the answer I was looking for, So it's not the cessation of activity. It's purification of the activity. So the simple point, because we'll end here, is this: we should be willing to follow. Just follow. Follow doesn't mean like a dull stone, doesn't mean like an idiot, doesn't mean blind following, doesn't mean any of those things. But the willingness. This is the formula. It is the tried and true path. I can't remember the Sanskrit. Maybe if Dravida Prabhu was here, I talked to him this morning. He's just finishing up the Vyasa Puja marathon. He has to finish it and get it to the printer in X amount of time, or the books don't come out in time. And this year was particularly late, people sending in their offerings. And I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, no, I was talking about following, just... Anyway, the simple point, not blind following. Following with intelligence. But following, and following the right person. We should be... I'll end with a personal story, an Oprah moment. I was a bhakta, trying to become a bhakta. I'm still trying to become a bhakta in Los Angeles. And I'd had a rough few days. I forget exactly what it was. You know, the guy next to me snored. And somebody had taken my dhoti, my 3 dhotis, and I was missing a dhoti. Or, you know, it was put away 5, 6 chapatis, no problem. So, and you've got 30 brahmacharis, so you do the math. And we were assigned, we had to finish our chapatis, rolling our chapatis, before we could take prasadam, breakfast prasadam. So, being a young man, Prabhupada said young men are always hungry. You can wake up in the middle of the night, and they're hungry. So that, you know, because they're growing and energetic, it should be. Prabhupada said, if you eat like a horse, if you work like a horse, then what can you do? Eat like a horse. But if you work like a bird, then you should eat like a bird. Otherwise, you won't burn it off. So, but anyway, the point is that, I mean, there's some genetics and stuff like that. But the point is, I had just about finished my chapati so I could take my nice prasadam. I was rolling next to a devotee who was a little wound tight. And we all had our little rolling spaces. And, you know, you put the flour down so you can roll your, you know, chapati. And when I put down the flour dough to then put my round, you know, my rolled chapati thing to get ready to go, I'd splash some flour onto my neighbor's space. You know, I'd intruded on his rolling area. And in vengeance, he reached over and crumpled up all my finished chapatis. So I was like, I could taste the halva, and oh man, I got to start all over again. So, you know, it was somebody was snoring. I hadn't slept properly. You know, one of my dhotis, somebody took off the line, mixed it up with theirs, and not, you know, whatever. This guy had just so I thought, that's it, I'm out of here, you know. But and my brother was working me. My older brother was calling me. I got a house in Kauai. Come over. You can shape surfboards. We'll live in Kauai. You can still chant Hare Krishna. Come over to Kauai. So I was thinking, well, geez, you know, I'll be Krishna conscious on the beach. I'm the light of the sun and the moon, you know. I'll watch the sunset, you know. So, but I'd received very good advice from my first temple president, Durlab, another person I can never repay. He told me, you know, we have the story of Dhruva Maharaj, who, when he actually got the darshan of Krishna, said, I'm looking for broken glass, and I found a priceless jewel. Sometimes we give up a priceless jewel for broken glass. You know, we give up Krishna consciousness for what is it? You can't even hold it. It doesn't satisfy, and it's gone in no time. Some flickering, foolish material thing. So anyway, the devotee told me, you know, if you ever want to leave Krishna consciousness, if you ever had enough, that's it, you know. I want to tell a story about my father, then I'll finish. You know, wait a week and see how you feel in a week. And so I remembered that. I was fried. My brother said, I'll send you a plane ticket. Let's go, you know. I thought, no, I'm going to wait a week. And Vishnu Jan Swami was there as our Harinam leader. I mean, so many. Prabhupada came back. He'd gone to Seattle or something. Prabhupada came. And I remember in a week, I was just laughing that for such petty foolishness, I was ready to give up Krishna consciousness and the association of devotees and strict following for some petty little anxiety which is gone now. So that confidence is that I will become Krishna conscious. That patience that was the point. My father told me, you know, predatory. He wanted me to take over his business and give up Krishna consciousness and this and that. So I'd had a bit of a rough time. You know, it's not easy. That's my point. The temple I had started in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was asked by the GBC to go in and help the Detroit temple because the temple president, this is how I became the temple president in Detroit. The temple president woke me up in the middle of the night, about 1 o'clock, said, "Here's the keys, I'm leaving." Huh? What? By the time I woke up, he was gone, and I was the temple president, you know? That was my training, if you ever wondered. So, and then it's a long story, but I had a young family, and then the GBC sold out from under me. Now we have property trustees. It can't be done anymore. Sold out the Ann Arbor Temple right out from under me because they needed money for this and that. You know, so many things. I'd promised, okay, I'll be in. Anyway, the point is that I'd gone through some stuff. I promised that I'll go in, I'll take care of book distribution for a few months. We'll pay off the BBT debt, $60,000. And by Krishna's grace and the hard work of the devotees, we did it. $60,000 in 3 months to the BBT. We're going to pay off the BBT. Then let me go back and preach in Ann Arbor. And by the time we paid off the debt in the snow, we had 13, 14 devotees going out, and they were working hard. But we paid off the BBT. I said, okay, let me go back. We're selling the temple for this and that, you know. I was so fried. And anyway, it's a long story. I said, that's it. I'm done. I can't stay here anymore. So I moved to Los Angeles. I was going to take care of Bhaktivedanta Village. They were going to move the press up there. I mean, some things happened, you know. And I was fried. I wasn't going to give up Krishna consciousness. I was fried, though. And I was sitting at my parents' house. I was staying at my parents' house in Laguna Beach. And my father, seeing that I was a little demoralized, the last name is Moral, so it's appropriate, and swooped in and said, you know, hey, don't you ever get discouraged? Why are you doing, you know? And I thought about it, and I said, anything valuable is not easy to obtain, generally speaking. You want to become what is it? You want to become they don't throw anvils anymore, but it's shot put, isn't it? I mean, they have curling. I don't even know what curling is. They've got it, you know, there's skiing decathlons that you ski, shoot, and whistle at the same time. I don't know what, you know, they got all these things you do. I mean, you know, and you give up everything and you practice you move to Norway so you can be in the Winter Olympics and commune with the reindeer or whatever, you know, for years. And what do you get? And what are the odds you're going to get gold, silver, or bronze, you know, if you even qualify? And suppose you even do qualify. You know, so what? It's gone in no time. Someone beats your record 3 months later. You got the world's record 3 months later, somebody beats you, you know. So we should never give up. Chanakya Pandit says you should never give up the permanent for the temporary. Why? You'll lose both. It's great, isn't it? Never give up the permanent for the temporary. You'll lose both. You give up the temporary is going to go anyway. So that combination of, just to finish the story, so I was staying at my parents' house, wondering where am I going to go with my family and where I'd serve Krishna, you know, what to do. And I brought my kids and my wife we went to the SanDiego Zoo. You know, they're going nuts in the house. I'm going nuts. So we came down to the SanDiego Zoo. It's innocent fun. After going to the SanDiego Zoo, we stopped by the temple because the temple was right there. So we stopped by the temple, Sunday feast. And Gunagraj Maharaj, no, actually the temple was here by then. But I met them in the park because they were chanting in the park. And Gunagraj Maharaj said, what are you doing? And I said, frankly, I'm doing nothing. You know, told him my story. He said, why don't you come down here? Come to SanDiego. Be the bhakti leader. We'll rent you an apartment. Come immediately. Next day, rented an apartment, and I moved down here, and the rest is history, you know. Krishna had his own plan. You guys had to suffer me, but Krishna saved me. So that combination of enthusiasm, you have to be enthusiastic. You have to be patient. It takes time. It's not easy. You want to get something valuable. We want to get the most valuable thing. See Krishna face to face in this life and go back to Godhead. It's not cheap. It's going to take hard work. But we're confident. I follow my spiritual master. I follow the acharyas. I follow the Shastra. I'll go. That was it. I wanted to ask Dravida about the Sanskrit because I've forgotten where the verse is. But it says the acharyas have all crossed over the river, the ocean of birth and death. They've all gone. Am I left crying on the shore alone? What is the example? Anyone know from the Bhagavatam? They've crossed over. They're gone. I'm left alone? Hey, like what is it? Let me crack my head against the rocks and cry? They've left a boat. What is that boat? Their instruction. They've left behind a boat. Just get in the boat. Follow their instructions and you can also cross over. So, utsaha, and that's manifest by Devahuti. Okay, we can end there. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.